Hi, I'm Rune Moelbak, couples therapist and psychologist in Houston, Texas. Today, I want to talk to you about the secret to fighting less in your relationship. Oftentimes, couples end up getting stuck in a vicious cycle of anger, which fuels more anger. So, one partner finds something that he or she is unhappy about and expresses that in a way that hurts their partner's feelings. And their partner, in turn, turns that hurt into anger, which they then express. And so the cycle ends up perpetuating itself and fueling ever more anger. So what we want to find out is there a way to get out of this cycle? And I will make the argument that there's really one main way that we can sidestep the cycle and get ourselves onto a much more productive path. The single biggest trick to getting out of the vicious cycles of anger is to realize that oftentimes the content of what we fight about really isn't the issue at all. There's almost always something deeper at stake. And being able to get in touch with that is what will take you out of fighting about many little surface issues. So if your spouse comes home late one evening, it's not really his lateness that's the problem. We may think it is, and we may tell ourselves that he's being inconsiderate, he's being selfish, he's not investing enough in the relationship, and that, maybe this is just another instance of him not really caring. Underneath the criticism, what is often really causing us to become angry, it's one big concern that is the cause of almost all fights in relationships. So let's look at what that might be. The main concern is often one of fear and anxiety. So fear about what? Well, we all have a fear that shows itself once in a while about whether or not our partner really cares about us and really needs us and really wants us. We feel uncertain at times if we're really special to our partner, if we can count on our partner to be there for us, and we can call this our attachment need. And our attachment need is our need to be special to someone, to know that someone is going to be there for us, that we have a very unique and special place for our partner. And when we fight about money or time or parenting, what we mostly fight about is this fear deep down that maybe we're losing our emotional connection with our partner, and that maybe our partner is slowly drifting away and isn't going to be there for us. Now, you may be thinking that what I'm talking about doesn't really apply to you. It may not really seem right to you to attribute your fights to this underlying attachment need. Maybe in your situation, you experience your partner as possessive or jealous, and you have no doubts that your partner needs you or wants to be around you, but you actually want to have more distance and more time to yourself. And this is a quite common pattern that develops in many relationships. One partner is nagging for more attention, and the other is withdrawing because they're tired of being nagged at. So if we look a little bit deeper underneath this desire to withdraw, we often find that even here there are some insecurities and fears about not being good enough to your partner and feeling like you're falling short of what your partner really wants. So even here, we can often look at the tendency to withdraw as a way to protect yourself from feeling like you're not good enough. So, given what we know about what lies just beneath the surface of our anger and our desire to withdraw, how can we use this understanding to shift the negative interaction cycles into some more positive cycles? There's really one common denominator in doing so, and that is you have to ask yourself, underneath my anger or underneath my desire to withdraw from my partner, what are my fundamental longings? What are my deepest relationship fears? And if you can get in touch with those, then start there. Instead of fighting about what your partner is or is not doing, have a conversation about your fears. Dare to admit to some of the more vulnerable feelings that you have about your place in the relationship. Realize that you become angry to begin with, mostly because of a desire to be loved. If you're able to shift the conversation to these more vulnerable self-disclosures, you will be able to shift the nature of your conversations in your relationship so that you can pull yourself out of the negative interactions and into a more positive cycle. If you dare to admit to these feelings and thoughts that we often feel slightly shameful about or embarrassed about, then you actually invite closeness from your partner. Now, instead of pushing your partner away through your anger or through your distancing, you can now address what lies beneath the anger or beneath the distance. And this means that you are able to connect at a deeper level. And at this level, you're not really having a fight with each other, because what you're saying is that you need your partner and you care about your partner, and that it is your hurt feelings that is making you lash out, and it is your sense of not being good enough or not being wanted that's making you feel protective of yourself and withdraw into yourself. If you're able to shift your conversation from the anger or the silence or the withdrawal into some of these deeper and more underlying vulnerable feelings, then you're going to be able to feel closer to your partner, and you're going to be able to restore a sense of safe attachment. And when you feel more safe with each other, then you will automatically also fight less. Because remember, many of our fights are not about the surface level issues. They're really about not feeling safe in our connection. So if we do feel safe, then we also don't have the same urge to lash out or the same need to withdraw into ourselves. So if we want to summarize what this presentation has been about today, it's really been about recognizing what it is we do to get ourselves into vicious cycles that create more distance and more arguments, and then what do we need to do to shift those vicious cycles into a more positive cycle of allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, inviting our partner to connect with us, and restoring a sense of emotional safety in our relationship so that we don't end up fighting as much anymore. If you've enjoyed the presentation today, you might want to check out my couples blog called Couples Insight, and you can do so by clicking or typing in the link that you see on the screen right now. If you would like to download a free guide on how to make your relationship work better, you can do so by visiting my website and signing up for my monthly newsletter. So that's it for now. I wish you good luck trying to bring your relationship back on the right track.